Welcome back to the Writing Awards for the Smack Talk Year-End Awards 2012. We are now at the best and worst pay-per-views of the year. Best, for me, goes to WrestleMania 28. It just barely edges out Extreme Rules at a distant second. I see both matches as three-match shows. You know, their undercards were both very meh, not too much to look into there. You know, for WrestleMania, you had 18 seconds. You had a forgettable Orton-Kane match. You know, you had the Divas do their thing. An injured celebrity was even involved in that match. And then you got The Undertaker versus Triple H in an amazing Hell in a Cell match. You know, it had a little bit of a buffer. Oh, yeah, Big Show and Cody Rhodes in an Intercontinental title match that was decent. But when that's like one of the highlights of the undercard, you know it's not too good. And then, of course, you have Undertaker and Triple H in Hell in a Cell. A decent 12-man tag that just served its purpose to get mid-carders on the show. And then Punk and Jericho have a great WWE title match, and then The Rock and John Cena have a great memorable match to cap off the show. So what was strong on the show was really, really strong. At Extreme Rules case, it was the same thing. I mean, you had Kane and Orton do their thing, except Falls Count Anywhere, so they got to beat each other up around the arena. And what killed Extreme Rules for me is that there were impromptu matches. Dolph Ziggler versus Brodus Clay was a nothing match. It wasn't even announced beforehand. You know, you also had a Ryback squash on here. WrestleMania didn't have a Ryback squash. But the matches that were really good were really good. Like Daniel Bryan and Sheamus, 2 out of 3 falls, was at the match of the night for the World Heavyweight Championship. You had CM Punk and Chris Jericho in an entertaining Chicago street fight for the WWE title. And then John Cena versus Brock Lesnar was one of the most uncomfortable beatdowns that we've witnessed in forever. But for me, the pageantry and the epic build-up and just payoff to WrestleMania 28 makes the not the far superior show, but the superior show nonetheless. So it gets best pay-per-view for me. The worst has to be No Way Out. I mean, when your best match is a forgettable triple threat match for the WWE title between CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Kane, and that doesn't even main event the shitty John Cena Big Show cage match, predictable as shit fuck main event does, that's a bad show. Nothing was memorable. It was haphazardly built up. It was such a filler show. There might as well not even be a pay-per-view in June. They should just spend that month extra to build up to Money in the Bank in July. That's where the real effort goes into. Yeah, total shit. There's no defending it. Terrible. Awful. Ugh. But at least it was the end of Big Johnny and People Power, though. The best and worst gimmicks. Best goes to Damien Sandow, the intellectual savior gimmick. Man's been brilliant. If you watched his Comic-Con video, you know the brilliance of Sandow's character. Awesome. The use of the words ignoramuses, the way he holds the microphone like a brandy glass, the robe, the beard, everything fits. He's the best debut that happened this year, in my opinion. He's such a talented individual. I hope to see him have a bright future in 2013. Awesome gimmick. Even better performer. Great all-around superstar. Worst gimmick goes to Tensai. Japanese Lord Wrestler gimmick. What a fucking flop. Have I ragged on this guy enough during this award series? My God, just terrible. From Shredder to Red Diaper. From Sakamoto to no Sakamoto to beat up Sakamoto to try and get heat. God awful. Just terrible. And now, last but not least, most and least shocking moments of 2012. The biggest shocker for me was the CM Punk heel turn at Raw 1000. John Cena and CM Punk have this match at Raw 1000 for the WWE title. John Cena cashes in his Money in the Bank beforehand to get a title match against Punk at Raw 1000. They go back and forth, do their usual stuff. It's like their style of match, but like shrunk down to TV level pretty much, so it's not as epic. Big Show is still feuding with John Cena at this point. He's pissed off that John Cena won Money in the Bank. When it looks like Cena has the match won, Big Show interferes, causes the disqualification, the match to end, beats the hell out of Cena. Punk is hurt, he's conflicted, he doesn't want to help Cena because he's getting beat up by a giant. He decides to leave the ring, and then The Rock, who was, as I said earlier in the night, was announced that he's getting a WWE title match to Punk and Bryan. Earlier in the night, his music hits, he comes down to the ring, lays out Big Show, saves Cena, After he hits a spine buster, seems like he's setting up for the people's elbow, and then all of a sudden a huge clothesline from CM Punk happens, and the world stops for a second. Punk then waits for Rock to get to his feet and drops him with a go to sleep, looks over, looks down at The Rock, takes his championship, walks out. Epic moment. Did not see it coming. Punk was in the midst of a very successful second face run in his career. He was the second biggest face in the company behind Cena. He was doing well as champion as a face. Wasn't that he was getting stale or booed. It was a heel turn that came out of nowhere. And it wasn't a full heel turn. I mean, he started showing, the weeks after this, leading into SummerSlam, he showed a more, jerky, douchebaggy side to him, like saying both Big Show and Cena were both losers to their match, interfering in matches, doing cheap shots to both of them. But he was always on the crowd side, and then eventually he shaved his head and went full-on heel and went after the crowd anyway, with the whole Jerry Lawler stuff that they did after SummerSlam. After SummerSlam, he went full-on heel, but, between then he was very gray area, a little tweener-ish, but you always knew it was going to end up as a full heel turn. And it all started with one simple clothesline to The Rock, and what a clothesline it was. And the go-to-sleep to The Rock was just surreal to watch, really. It was just awesome. Definitely didn't see it coming. That's why it wins my biggest shocker of the year. The worst dud has to be Jarrett Troll. I mean, good God, was his return hyped. And it was hyped it be like the end of the world. It has these weird kids in a school writing stuff about it. God, it had this YouTube viral video thing going on. It would give you links to where to see it on Twitter and whatnot. And then Jericho comes back. It's like the smiling troll, and he slaps hands and never talks. And then it was all for what? For him to cut a promo about the Royal Rumble, and then he doesn't even win the Royal Rumble, and then he goes on to just feud with CM Punk. That was reported, like, while these videos were airing. It was... It was stupid. Like, the whole end of the world as you know it shtick got old. It Begins 2012 or something like that. It was such a dud. Just a complete fucking flop. Totally. And that's why it wins my worst dud. Anyway, check into what will be part 3 for the Writing Awards coming your way next.